Hey, good afternoon. My name is Martin Cowart, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour, where we gather together every day at noon Eastern Daylight Time to love and support each other through this pandemic. It's so important that we try not to get through this alone and by ourselves. And it's so easy to isolate with the restrictions, not so much restrictions, but the respect of taking care of one another by practicing um, safe social distancing and masks and all the other things that we're doing right now that are a little inconvenient, but as Joe Biden says, they are wearing a mask is an act of patriotism. It's to show your love for yourself and your love for your neighbor when you take measures to protect yourself and you protect others. That is the ultimate sign, if you ask me, of love for yourself and love for others. And so as we practice um, this art, well, I'm glad you're here, Audrey, and stay as long as you like. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what I do every morning and what I will be teaching from my new webinar, Practicing the Art of Being Present, Your Key to Living a Life of Love, Joy, and Prosperity. And I'm going to be sharing with you, hey, Mindy, exactly what my morning power hour looks like. And one that you could develop for yourself to empower yourself daily. And meet the day from a place of joy and presence and power. For me, I wake up almost every morning still after all these years with a sense of what I call the vultures on the bedpost. And that's just, we'll wake up with this like sense of self-loathing almost, not loathing, but a self-attack that I'm not good enough or I wake up with a sense of dread most mornings. And I have for a long time, and it was through this practice of that I learned from my coach a long time ago, to incorporate a meditation and contemplative prayer type of devotion every morning, or sacrament every morning, if you will, to empower myself to let go of those vultures. Because what I mean by that is my ego barking at me and of unworthiness and not enough and what could you do, and just it's we all have it, and so but instead of going through my day with that ego barking in my head about my inabilities, I choose to do a morning practice in order to um, empower myself with who I call Joy the Wise Woman, so I can bring my power and bring my love into the world and reimagine generosity. It's my theme is what I believe what we're doing is we are in COVID-19, we are reimagining what it is to be generous, what it is to live from prosperity and what it's like to live from abundance. So we can reimagine a world built out of love, joy, and prosperity. That's what this is. Not about some ideal utopia. It's about the real world we live in, but shifting our mindset from a mindset of scarcity and not enough, which is what I wake up with in the morning. I still do. I was talking to my coach today. She's come out on her own, and she's creating her own company. I'm so excited for her. But I said, yeah, I still wake up with those vultures on my bedpost. They're just still out there every morning, putting me down the minute I open my eyes. And but it doesn't take me very long to get my coffee and do what I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you exactly what I do and what you can do if you would like to empower yourself. I mean, I don't know anybody who's successful in having a good life, a joyful life, a life of fulfilling life. And that's what we want. I don't mean successful in money. That money has nothing to do with it. It has to do with living from abundance and living from joy and living from excitement. That doesn't have some form of connecting to that source of power within themselves when they start their day. Everybody I know, there's no one I know, Tony Robbins, I don't know anybody. I mean, there is no teacher. There is no one that I can even. I just don't know anybody. If you're able to do it without this, I'm great. I can't. So, and you may be one of those who can't either. So I'm going to show you something this afternoon, that you can do very simply to begin to empower yourself to live a life of love, joy, and prosperity. So, and again, I'm going to be teaching from my new webinar. It's not so new, actually. I made it over the summer, but it's available to anybody who'd like a copy of it. You can just go to the Financial Mystic Sanctuary Facebook group. If you're not a member, you can join immediately, and we'll get you in, and you'll find them in the unit section. It's right there. So you can download it, and you can get a copy. But I'm going to go over a little bit of it with you today. So, are you ready to step into your power? Practicing the art of being present. Your morning power hour is your sacred space of solitude, and is the single most important tool for you to practice to access the spiritual realm and your creative aware mind. We call that creative aware mind, that spiritual realm, infinite intelligence, frequently in my coaching practice, because it's kind of sort of a secular term, and also it became a popular term with Napoleon Hill's book Think and Grow Rich, as that infinite source of power that we have. So that helps. Then, oh, my dear, there's my good friend Julian. Hey, Julian, wow, you just looking at you and that bit of sunshine behind your picture, you just made my heart open up with so much joy. I'm so glad you're here today. It's been a while. Thank you for your hello, and thank you for being here. And I hope today that I can share a little bit with you what I do in the morning and what I'm recommending to all of my clients and people who work with me to create a morning power hour. And this is powerful. I follow it almost every day to some degree. I mean, I'll mix it up. I've been doing this for a long time, but this is a template of what I do, and it works. So I'm glad you're here, Julian, and thank you for stopping in. It's been too long, and wow, what a joy to see you here today with us. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. It might be too big. That's good. Let me get rid of this banner here too. That's a little better. Okay, very good. All righty. So let's go through this. This is my morning power and what you can do as well. It's all centered around meditation and contemplative prayer. And all contemplative prayer means is it's a prayer with an intention to get to know ourselves. It's a prayer with an intention. It's actually to not do anything, just to be present. It's to contemplate who we are, the essence of who we are, the true power. So it's a contemplative practice to go inside and get still. There are all kinds of ways to pray and all kinds of ways to meditate, but this contemplative practice is a way to get to know ourselves. And I do a type of prayer called centering prayer, which comes out of Thomas Keating. If you want happiness, you've got to connect to your creative genius. And developing a daily meditation practice is the only way I know of to connect to your creative genius. We plug into an enormous source of power. And this is how I do it. People often ask me, well, how long is your power hour? I said, well, it's at least an hour. That's why it's called a power hour. And I break it down as follows. And let's go through that. If you're new to this, I would suggest that you start with disrupt your daily routine. Tell your ego, it's the first thing I can tell those vultures on the bedpost to get off my playing field. And it doesn't like getting up early. It wants its own way. It's like, oh, I'll stay in bed and wallow in my own pity. But What I've learned is to just get up an hour earlier or 30 minutes earlier to sort of disrupt my daily routine and get my power back. It's a way of kind of claiming it pretty quickly. This is so important and it's so simple. And often I want to I want to get on my iPhone and start starting my day, you know, but I just won't do it. I'll just no iPhone. I just take care of my business in the morning and go right to the coffee machine, which I love. I have an espresso machine, and I make myself a big cup of latte, and I just sit. I sit out here on this beautiful porch, and I watch the sun come up. I face the east and watch the sun come up, and I just sit and be. And I can feel those vultures just peeling off the bank. I can just feel myself opening up. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to be. I'm just being me. I'm just allowing my body and my spirit to wake up to the new day. And so don't miss this part. Just get up for 10 minutes. If you like tea, if you like, come in, want a glass of water, but find a place that you really enjoy meditating and enjoy being in the morning to welcome the day, and just sit and be. Just simply sit and be. In the next 10 minutes, embody the spirit with movement. There are all sorts of different ways we can embody the spirit, but this is important because we need with intention to move. That's why we raise our hands and we meditate. The intention is to bring the spirit of life into awareness in our bodies. You could do yoga. I do yoga. I do about an hour of what I call disco yoga. I do one of two things. I either do an hour of disco yoga, which means I just put on disco music and go through a yoga routine because it's more fun to have on disco music. I enjoy it. This morning I didn't have time for the whole yoga, but I had about 15 minutes before a phone call, and I just put on some disco music and just danced. I just danced for 15 minutes in this space. I had a ball. Just turn on some music I like, some old classic disco songs, some old anthems, and just dance and dance and dance. And I could just feel myself coming alive and coming awake. So it doesn't matter what you do, just do something. You could do, if you're very athletic, you might want to do push-ups, sit-ups, stretching, anything that you can do to embody the spirit with some form of movement. Now, the next 10 minutes is to bombard the ego thinking mind with spiritual truth and wisdom through either reading something or listening to something. To get you out of your head is to kind of prepare the mind for something that's beyond itself. If you'll notice something about reading spiritual truth and wisdom, it's never the truth and the wisdom itself. It is what's pointing you to it. So before we meditate, it's nice to have us be pointed to something, so we have a sense of purpose. I mean, it's like the moon. I might point you to the moon, but the pointing to the moon is not the moon. The moon is the moon. So the spiritual truth and the wisdom is a way of pointing. And here's some books. If you're new to this, these are some books that I'm reading that I recommend to people a lot. It depends on where you are. One of them is Falling Upward by Richard Rohr. I love that book. Another one is Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender by Dr. Hawkins. That's a little more involved, a little deeper, but certainly a wonderful book on understanding the power of letting go. And what are you answering those questions? What are you letting go of actually? You know, they had that old cliche in AA room, let go and let God. Well, you know, once you actually begin to live in that principle, everything changes. And one of my all-time favorites is still The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. If you've read that book, if you liked him, go to read the New Earth. Another teacher I really like is Emptiness Dancing by Adyashanti. And finally, The Heart of Centering Prayer by the Reverend Cynthia Bourgeault. If you want to learn a little bit about centering prayer, she's a wonderful, wonderful resource for that. And she is certainly a teacher and a messenger of the divine feminine, which is what the world is so hungry for right now. And we're so blessed to have her teaching right now in the world, and having her with us. It's a wonderful, all those, any of those books. My encouragement though is to find one you like and finish it. Just go, if it does, let's you just don't like it, then find another one. But if you can try to get through, if you don't like something, I always say, well, what part of you doesn't like it? You know, it's usually my ego doesn't like it. It's teaching me something I didn't want to learn. And then finally is this, what happened? Is the next, and this is very important, it's just to get still. Just if you want to do centering prayer like I do, that's fine. It's just a matter of sitting still. We do it that's what we do every day during this meditation. We do a form of centering prayer. It was taught by Thomas Keating. It's now taught by Cynthia Bourgeault. And it's a wonderful way of practicing the art of letting go throughout your day. Because what happens is that if you set with intention for 20 minutes of letting go, you're watching your thoughts come up and then letting them go. Watch your thoughts come up, letting them go. Thoughts become objects. They're just objects. They're creations of the mind. They're creations. They're just creations. And the ego doesn't want to let them go. They're like little babies. They want to keep them. But the idea here in meditation is to let them go. Because a lot of the thoughts, particularly during all this drama, a lot of thoughts are fear-driven. And so in meditation, the idea is not decide is this a fear-driven thought or a love? It doesn't matter what thought is the thought. And we want to get out of that, because that gives when you decide on which thoughts are good and bad and which ones are, that is a clever technique of the ego to get inside. So it's no thought. Buddha's teaching, nothing, no thought, no thought. Thought comes up, let it go. Thought comes up, let it go. So you practice that for 20 minutes and really get an insight timer and practice. And as you know, what we do here every day at noon, we turn on the insight timer with some interval bells. And I like the interval bells. I've been meditating for a long, long time, and sometimes I can just get so relaxed and so comfortable that all of a sudden I fall asleep or I go in some deep thought trance. Somehow my mind is attached to a thought because it thinks it's a good thought usually, and it wants to work it and attach to it and figure it all out. And that might be a good thing at another time. But the idea here is to let go of the ego's need to control things and manipulate, and let go of every thought, no matter what, without any judgment. Just let it go. It'll come back. If it's something that you need to work with, it's going to bring you and get your message out and add more value, it'll come back. Because once you realize something, if you realize something that's true, then you can't unrealize it. It'll have a strange way of showing it back again. So you just be grateful for the thought, let it go, and come back another time. So that's what I'm going to say about that, and we're going to practice it in a few minutes. So there's another app that you might enjoy. There's a lot of apps out there, but if this is new to you and you're having a little bit of a difficult time, I just discovered a new app that I like a lot. It's called Relax. It's on my phone, and I pay. I get started paying for it because I listen to her meditation at night before I go to bed. Another one is Synctuition. That's another app that you can buy. I think it's like $80, but it takes you through a whole series of getting close to your intuitive nature, which is their way of saying to the divine. So there are some apps out there. Again, there may even be some there. I think on the Insight Timer, if you purchase the premium version, you'll get some meditations as well. It doesn't really matter how you meditate. It's just that you do it. Okay, and you might find one that sets the intention to actually discover who you are. Personally, I think it's a good idea to do a meditation that helps you discover the truth of who you are. And that's powerful. And this is from my class, of course. This is from my webinar. So I'm always suggesting in the webinar that they could join us here at noon and talk more about that. And then the last 10 minutes is very important after you meditate and just finish up is to stop and just write about your feeling. What are you discovering about yourself? And there's something about actually writing it. So journaling is a major part of my morning meditation. It has been for years. Started back when I was working at Ground Zero at St. Paul's Chapel. I learned the power. I was reading Pema Chodron's book, books at the time to have a better like spiritual grounding of what I was doing at the time, which was leading the food operation at St. Paul Chapel with my dear friend Mindy Mount, who's right here today. She was one of our food captains at the time, and she was just great part of that service. And but I found that that's when I really saw the power of journaling, because I had so much stuff in my head and all that chaos and all that. I needed some way to kind of clean it out and get it in balance. So I discovered journaling then, and I think it's one of the most powerful tools we can use to help get clarity about who we are and why we're here. Then I suggest conclude by putting your hands on your heart and saying, I am a creative genius, not me. My mantra in my centering prayer mantra is I am, or I am not me. And the reason I add that not me piece to it is to remind my ego, which I've said before, is not intelligent, but it is very clever. So I don't want it to get any ideas that it thinks it's the creative genius. So I just make it really clear. I am the divine. I am Joy the Wise Woman. I am a creative genius, not me, Martin. I am infinite intelligence, not me, Martin. I am infinite intelligence. I am pure love consciousness. And finally, I am worth far more than all the money in the world. Yes, me too. Because there is nothing more precious. I think that's something we're all learning as we're reimagining generosity during the time of COVID-19, just how precious and how valuable our lives are. We come from abundance, and we come from prosperity, and we come from a miracle of joy and love and prosperity. And that's beautiful. And many of us me certainly, have all learned the power of that. And the beauty of that is to let go of our old fear-driven beliefs that somehow our money and our pocketbooks determine how worthy we are. And nothing could be further from the truth than the notion that your worth has anything to do with money. So I like to put this in there. I am worth far more than all the money in the world, and yes, me too. I'm not going to go into this, but one of the things that I suggest to people in my webinar is to find a partner. And in the webinar, there's a whole process for powering up and for there. So how was that? Did you learn anything new? Since we do this together most of you are here, we do this together every day. But I wanted to share with you and the world what I do and what they can create for themselves in order to create that power hour and empower yourself in the morning to really hold that power and be confident that you are worthy and you are valuable. And all you have to do is show up with love and gratitude and let that infinite power within you come alive. That's it. That's what we do. Any comments, suggestions, ideas? Thank you, Mindy. Clear, good work, clear and accessible. That is the idea. I want to make this as easy and clear as I possibly can, because there's no time like now we need to empower ourselves with love, with the divine love within us. And for me, that's the divine feminine of the world. It's been so sorely lacking in the creation of this very toxic environment we've created on this planet in so many ways. So I'm just so grateful for my relationship with the divine feminine in me, and how important it is to wake her up in all of our hearts right now, to bring us into reimagining a new world, reimagining generosity in a new way we've never experienced before, certainly not collectively. And that's exciting. That's something to look forward to, isn't it? So the idea is to bring our light in the world. This morning practice is a way to shine your light and make and brighten your light every day, um, so you can be a beacon of light to others who might be in darkness, including ourselves. It's to shine the light of the darkness within ourselves. So yeah, I hope you will, and by all means, go to the website, the Financial Mystics Sanctuary website, and here on Facebook, and you'll find the units right there. You can download them, and you can down just watch them. They're what I just showed you. Um, they're there, but the ones that are there have me giving they're webinars, so it will give you some instructions on how to actually use them. It's just a great way to start your day. And this morning, like I said earlier, I didn't have time to we didn't have beautiful teachings, Martin, as we are living our soul purpose now. We are living our soul purpose now, Julian. Yes, we are. Thank you for the acknowledgement. I appreciate that. That makes me feel that feels good. It feels good to hear you say that. And Julian is a numerologist, and he is phenomenal guy. And if you want to, I never really understood numbers and how they work, but until I met Julian, and he's enlightened me to the power of the numbers. And if you would like to get some of that, I can recommend. It will be a very very powerful experience to spend some time with Julian, to have him talk with you about your numbers and what they mean in your living your life purpose and your soul purpose. So thank you, Julian. That means a lot coming from you this morning. So we're going to do a little meditation. I think we should do a little meditation. We should do a little contemplative prayer. Let me get my timer out here. Set that up. So raise your arms in the air, and we set it for 20 minutes. And again, raise your arm. Again, we're embodying the spirit. Just get still and hold your hands up and just feel the tingling, the electricity of life flowing in your body as your oxygen and your air and your spirit mixes with your blood and creates life through the heart, pumping life through your body. Embody the spirit, embody the miracle of who you are and what you are. When you say you're a child of God, you're a child of the Creator. We are all creators. Let's just become conscious of it. And put your arms down and just now begin to focus on your breath for a moment. And as you focus on your breath, let it kind of think of it's coming in up through your nostrils and into your behind your eyes and down your throat and into your lungs and into your heart, mixing with your blood and then traveling through your body and then coming back out. That flow of life coming in and going out. Just allow that to be your focus. That's something we do automatically all day long. So we bring that automatic life force energy into the moment by thinking about it or just being conscious of it. Not so much thinking about it, but feeling it. Feel that life force coming in and out of your body. Feel the breath. Feel the space around your heart opening up. Don't think. Let go of thinking for the next 20 minutes. Let go of all thoughts. Let go of all judgments. Let go of all positions you hold. Let go of any notion you have that some things are true and some things are false. Some things are right, some things are wrong. Everything is just what it is. And fall into that beautiful, beautiful space of stillness, of space. What Jesus called heaven or spaciousness. Fall into the space around the thoughts, around the objects. And these thoughts will come up during this next 20 minutes, as I am absolutely positive they will. The instructions are simple. Accept it and let it go. Accept the thought with gratitude, without judgment, without attachment, and let it go. Allow yourself to do that as many times as it comes up. And you just might get a second or two of emptiness. Allow that bell to wake you up from any trance you may have found yourself in. Let go of the trance, let go of the thought, and fall back into love. There's that wake up bell again. Say thank you and let it go. Last wake up bell. Greet it with gratitude and let it go. Welcome back. That was the ending bell. You can think all you want to right now. How about you encouraged to think? You're encouraged to go and get your journal out and think a little bit about what you learned and write it down and get present with yourself. And anything you want, curious to hear how anyone's feeling from the meditation and what you'd like to maybe comment on, if anything. We've certainly got time for conversation if you like. The one downside of this particular platform is that it's one-sided. I'm the one that gets to do all the talking, but I can certainly respond to your statements in the chat. And figuring out one way I'd like to create this more of a dialogue, and I haven't quite figured that out yet. So if anybody's got any ideas on how to do this every day with more of an interactive conversation, I'm happy to explore it. I just don't know. I tried once with Zoom and I wasn't very successful. But that's might be my lack of technical expertise more than anything else. I'm sure it's possible. I just don't know how. I believe our friend Mindy Mount's going to be joining us as my guest on Friday. So Mindy will be sharing this space with me, and we'll be hearing about, yeah, maybe we can try that. I might try that on a Saturday. Um, I might just uh, try to create. Yeah, lots of thoughts. There are thoughts that you can say goodbye to. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because the human mind thinks. That's what we do. We think. We are thinkers. We think. But I don't go with we think because therefore I am. I am therefore I think. I am God before I think. I am a creator. I am therefore I think is really more, I think, a more accurate way of saying that. So um, then I think before I am. No, I am first. I am the divine. I am the creator. And as a creator and as a human being, I think. So yes, absolutely. And maybe I'll try this Saturday to do a Zoom meditation, and if it just blows up, it'll blow up, and we'll figure out how to get through it without any problem. It won't be the end of the world. Because it sure be fun for me to be able to and be able to just have more of a dialogue with you. Um, so anyway, thank you for the suggestion, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing. And in the meantime, may love and prosperity prevail.